Hi, I'm Pete Knapp, and this is my application for the Leadville 100 Challenge. So, as soon as I got the email from Canyon talking about this, the first thing I did naturally, which is probably what everybody else did, was to go on to YouTube and just start learning about the Leadville 100. And I learned a lot pretty quickly, but in order to keep this video relatively short, I did distill down my thinking on the top to come up with the top 10 reasons to take on the Leadville 100. Number 10, encourage people to get outside, especially on a bike. If it were as easy to get people on bikes as it is to get them a prescription, I think the world could be a lot better place. There's lots of research to indicate that just being outside is as good at solving problems as many forms of pharmaceutical intervention. Number 9, share inspiration from Kate and Dad. Kate is our youngest daughter, and she recently fell off a horse and shattered her left arm, broke both bones in her left arm, and just the toughness that she had through that, and the fact that it was, never a big deal for her. And like, even when she did it, I didn't think it was really broken because she didn't really react that much. And she ended up going through, 4.5 hours of surgery to piece this arm back together. And just the perseverance and just her ability to just get through that was inspirational. And then also my dad, somebody that I've been very close to throughout my life, somebody that's definitely set a path for adventure for me. He's done a week-long bike tour every year, basically throughout his 60s and 70s. He's 77 now, and hopefully that's something we'll continue to get to do for a long time into the future. But definitely somebody that inspires me just in terms of his zest for life and desire to take on adventures. Number 8, the number 8 reason to take on the Leadville 100, explain performance shortcuts and where hard work is the only way. And what I mean by this is, when it comes to bike events, there are places where there are shortcuts, whether that's gear or specific training methodology. There are shortcuts to better performance, but there are also places where hard work is just the only option and the only way to get better. And so, as part of this, I'd like to be able to explain the difference between the two and talk about some of those performance shortcuts, but without losing focus on the hard work that's required as well. Number 7, maximize the value contributed to the project. Obviously, all the sponsors that have signed on, including Outside TV, Canyon, Pearl Izumi, Wahoo, Kuat, Infinite, Sweet Protection, ESI Grips, Industry 9, and Kenda, all could spend their money a bunch of different ways. But they've signed on to this project to help get people on bikes. And so I want to maximize the value that they've all contributed to this project. Number 6, demolish excuses. Like anybody out there, I have plenty of excuses why the Leadville 200 might be too much. I'm 47 years old. I have plenty of other things going on in my life. I don't have infinite time to contribute to this. I've got a job. I've got other commitments. I'm a pretty average athlete. So I have excuses just like everybody else, and reasons why Leadville might be too difficult. And so, just the opportunity to just demolish those excuses and push them out of the way. Number 5, share a realistic view of preparation. In the YouTube videos that I watched when I started learning about Leadville, there were lots of race videos, lots of post-race videos, but not a lot of people talking about the real preparation that goes into something like this and the months of effort. And so I'd like to share with people a realistic view of what taking on something this big really looks like, and both the good and the bad. There will over the course of months of preparing for it, there'll certainly be highs and lows, and I'd like to share a realistic view with folks of what that's like.
Okay.
Number 4, show the value of expert mentorship. Certainly the experience that Alexi has in having gone through this event and finishing near the top. I want to portray to people how important it is to have expert mentorship and how that can really fast forward or quickly increase your knowledge in an area and your ability to perform at a particular task. Having someone that's literally been there and done that is super important, and I'd like to help convey that. Number 3, establish taking on a big goal doesn't have to be at the expense of other commitments. So, I have a full-time job where a lot of people rely on me. I'm a husband, I'm a father to 2 girls, I have a dog, I have other commitments, and even a big, something that's big and audacious like this has to fit in the greater part of my life. And so I can't just take a year off from working or take a year off from being a dad or a husband or any of those other things. This has got to fit into my life, and hopefully at the end of the day, it's something that for all of the important people in my life, they'll say that I'm a better employee or a better husband or a better dad because of doing this, not that that I was able to do this in spite of all those other commitments. Number 2, break through personal barriers and fears. There's a lot about this event that is kind of intimidating. Like, I live at 900 feet of altitude, and the highest point in the state of Minnesota is 2,300 feet, and you'd have to go 4 times that to get to the start of Leadville. And so any long bike event between 10 and 12,000 feet of altitude is intimidating to take on, and to go along with all the climbing that's there, there's also descending, and that there's a fear factor involved in that too. And the idea of taking on 100 miles of mountain biking in a single day, that's a non-trivial task. And so just the opportunity to break through some of these barriers in my head as to what I can and can't do, that's the number 2 reason on my list. And number 1, the biggest thing that I could hope to achieve out of this is just inspiring other people to do things that seem out of reach for them. And not for some people, it is a 100-mile mountain bike race. That is something that they feel like is out of reach for them, and hopefully through sharing in my experience, they could find a way to reach out and attempt something. And if that's a 100-mile mountain bike race, great. If not, that's fine too. And so, if that's a 10-mile mountain bike ride, or if it's just pumping up the tires and going out for a ride of any length, that, to me, that would be the ultimate outcome out of this, and the thing that makes me most excited. And that's why it's number 1 on my top 10 reasons to take on the Leadville 100. So thanks to everybody that made it all the way through the video and listened to my top 10 list for reasons to take on the Leadville 100. It's something I'm super excited about. Would love to be a part of it, and thanks, and have a great day. Is our oldest daughter. She recently fell off a horse.
Kate is not the oldest daughter.
Did I say oldest?
Yeah.
Youngest.
I was like, what? Since when?
And and to go along with the climbs, the descents, being able to do high speed descents.